video, my friends and I are going to be sharing with you the mistakes to avoid and the things to watch out for in 2021. Stay tuned.
You are my refuge and strength, my very presence.
Welcome to Other Light Media, where we share with you deep insights into life and faith issues.
The year 2020 has been a very interesting and challenging one, going by a lot of things that have happened. But going forward in 2021, there are a number of things to look out for. Number one, put God first in everything that you do. Now I know this might sound like a cliche, but hold on. There is a void in every man, and it takes the God factor to fill it. Now, wouldn't you rather depend on a being that has the answer to all the questions of life, rather than depend on a man that has limitation? So it's very important that we put God first in everything that we do, because it gives us guide, it gives us direction. Even the Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 to 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths." Number two, create an emergency savings. I know that we save for projects, capital projects, for vacation, for cars and all of that. But the preceding year has shown to us that it's very important that we have an emergency savings. Something that can help you to take care of unforeseen contingencies. Something can just happen, something you never planned for, and you need to handle it immediately. An emergency savings will help you very importantly to do that.
And it's also important to note that cash is king.
Yes.
Because the preceding year has taught us that you need cash at hand to be able to solve emergency needs.
Exactly.
And you don't want to go ATM hunting, which can put you on harm's way, definitely. Because I've heard of a story of a woman and the husband on Sunday morning that went to use an ATM machine, and the husband was actually shot by armed robbers after they actually withdrew the money. And also, you don't know governmental policies and laws that could actually affect savings, or that actually affect the amount of money you have in your account. And because of that, you might not be able to withdraw the amount of money that you always wanted to the required amount. And also, what about when you go buy something from a store and there's a long queue, and then you slot in your card only to hear, sorry, your financial institution is not available. I don't know if you've ever had such a situation, but if you've had that, I want you to put it below and let us know. So you don't want to have such a situation. It's not about stopping up all the cash you have in your mattress, but it's just having something to fall back on when there is an emergency.
Number three, don't depend on a single source of income. A lot of people depend on a source of income, and it is very risky. Even if you are a businessman, it is advisable that you don't depend on that. Just diversify. Of course, when you have a source of income, you get paid, you get money. But if you have more than one, then you forget about your payday. Even COVID-19 has made us realize that having a multiple source of income is no longer a luxury but a necessity. So it is very important that you build your financial strength. And to build your financial strength, you need to build your revenue strength.
I so agree with that, because one other thing that we usually do sometimes, we make the mistake of procrastinating on good ideas that could actually give us multiple streams of income.
Yes.
For instance, you could be a referral source. You could write an ebook. You can invest in stock. And if investing in stocks scares you, go and get a financial advisor to help you. Try and do something that would put you out there and let people know about you. You used to talk about something about unique selling points. Unique selling point, USP. So I think one of the mistakes, I know somebody might also flow with this. Don't get too excited that you begin to tell everybody about your ideas. Get it done first and let everybody see what you're doing. I think that will help.
Number four, not developing financial intelligence. Now, I read some time ago, an article that says our financial success is governed by our underlying beliefs about money. To acquire this success, there's need to put some things in place. One of them is to have a daily financial plan, which is very important. Then the second one is saving at least 10% of your income. And when you save that 10%, it's not just saving it, but it is good that you invest. Use that 10% to invest. And when I say invest, it's not just going into any investment somebody tells you, especially that. Not just going into any business you have been told. It is better you get a professional that knows a lot about that business before you go into it. That will save you a lot.
And also, it's important to also have a long and short-term plan for whatever money that you have, because you want to be able to account for every dime that leave your account.
Yes.
When you just set money aside without any plan, it will lead to emotional spending. Also, just always eat well before going to a store, because you can be tempted to buy something that was not even in your list. So it's important. And sometimes you don't need it. Just like, let me just do that. Yeah. And also avoid this issue of, let me just take out this money from my account, I'm going to put it back. Because you don't know the responsibilities that might come up at the end of that month.
Yes.
And you might not be able to pay back, and this will make you incur more debt.
Yes.
So it's important to avoid such. And number 5, avoid procrastination. Procrastination is something that we've all been through one way or the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. But one of the ways to tackle procrastination is, first of all, forgiving yourself for procrastinating in the past, and learn to tackle those tasks that seem uninteresting at the peak of the day, when you are emotionally and mentally stable. At least tackle 90% of that task, then you can come back to it the next day to tackle at least the remaining percent. Because when you leave it in the bucket, it will continue to be in the bucket. Yes, that's just one way to tackle procrastination. Number 6, not having a sound business model. The first question is, do you have a business model? Can every money in your company be accounted for with the budget you have, or do you just spend emotionally? And how does your hiring process look like? Does it also give room for staff self-development? And even if you're the sole proprietor of your business, you also have to keep tab on what is happening in the financial market. And what about your service delivery? Are you doing what every other person is doing? Because sometimes you find that most businesses are actually copying what other people are doing, and they are complaining that they are not making profit. You have to step up your game by bringing quality to the table. You might look different, but that's the whole essence. You have to look different to be able to stand out. So have a sound business model so that you can be able to pull the crowd that you want to generate more income.
Number 7, don't underestimate the importance of quality time with family. And it's very important that we learn to spend quality time with our families, with our spouses, with our children. Because when you do that, you will be able to create memorable experiences that you want to be remembered for a very long time.
And I'd rather like to have a father that I can spend more time with than having someone who just come home and brings home the money. And at the end of the day, you don't have a relationship whatsoever. Pastor 𝗗𝗘𝗩𝗘𝗟𝗧𝗛𝗬 gave a story about a father that was so, I think he was so mean to his children that when he died, the children actually picked up his keys and threw it in his grave and said, "Daddy, don't forget your keys. You forgot your keys." So you want to even leave a legacy. I love what Pastor 𝗗𝗘𝗩𝗘𝗟𝗧𝗛 always say about legacy. It's important to leave a legacy that you can be remembered for. And when you leave a legacy, you also teach your children how to leave a legacy, a memorable legacy.
That's true.
So it's important to spend quantity time at work, quality time at home.
Number 8, not investing in self-development. Now, do you know that 1 hour of study per day can put you at the top of your field in 3 years? It is very important, very necessary that you develop yourself, because it makes you move from being a better person to being an excellent person in your field. And also to develop yourself, there is need for you to go for seminars, attend trainings, read books, because it widens your knowledge and makes you a better person.
And of course, watch adult media.
Yes.
That's true.
And also, talking about self-development, it's also important to know that you don't want to be just one-sided, just reading just because you want to be promoted in your field. You want to be a lifelong learner. You want to learn to be a better neighbor. You want to learn to be a better wife and husband. So you need to read wide.
That's true.
Yes, it's important to read wide, because when the perks that you're expecting from the company does not come, you don't get frustrated. So it's important to be a lifelong learner.
That's true.
Number 9, avoid unrealistic expectations from people. I know sometimes we have these expectations about how people should behave towards us, and when they do not live up to our expectation, we get disappointed, and sometimes we end up keeping malice one way or the other. So it's important to understand that you are not, the Bible says, train up a child in the way that it should be, not train up an adult. You don't want to be the enemy. When you have a disagreement with somebody, or when you have an expectation from a loved one and the person is not living up to that expectation, give room. I think one of the prerequisites of love is for you to be able to make room for people's flaws. If you really love people, make room for them to make mistakes. Don't let people always walk on eggshells when they are around you, because they are trying to be what you expect them to be in your
No man
mind.
is perfect.
No man is actually perfect, only God is perfect. So it's important to avoid allowing people put up with this attitude around us, or put up with this fake life around us. And number 10, not developing an intimate relationship with God. And before I say that point, if you have been getting value from what we've been saying so far, please do subscribe. Yes, click the notification bell. And we move on to number 10. We'd like to know, just let us know below, what are the lessons you've learned in 2020 and what are the things you're planning to do to move forward. And number 10, not developing an intimate relationship with God. I watched a movie where a woman sat on the window and held the Bible and looked at it and said, this is the word, or this is the Bible that tells us that everyone is a sinner, which is a lie. If you don't know the Creator, how can you know His character? So let's move past just listening to bedtime stories about Jesus. He has risen, He's no more in the manger. Okay, so let's get to know Him one-on-one by studying our Bible. Get around people who can help you grow and become better in your relationship with God.
That's true. Another important reason why it's important to develop intimacy with God is because there are a lot of challenges in life. We live in a dynamic world with a lot of change. So intimacy with God will help you to develop spiritual strength, and it guides your heart in everything you do in life.
Yeah, intimate relationship with God is very, very important because it makes us see things beyond the ordinary. It leads us on which paths to go and which paths not to go.
Yes.
As we move into the new year, it is very important. If you want to be successful, you need God to lead you, even in the new year, because it's the only one that can tell you, do this, don't do this, and you will not regret it. So that's it.
And if you also want to start over, we'd like you to please click the notification bell and do subscribe, because we're going to be coming out a video about how to start over in 2021. And so our question for the day is, what thing are you going to do in 2021 that will make a difference in your life? So thank you, and from every one of us in
Thanks for
Underline
watching.
Media.
God bless you.